and spin it a bit wide, hopefully find some gaps out wide.
Mike Edmonds certainly has done wonders with the Petone side this year.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same team that they had last year, running around with about 3 or 4 new guys in there, but sort of everybody's starting to pick up his game plan and knows where they're going now, and everybody knows their jobs, so it's making it easy on everybody.
Paul, although it is quite a dismal day today, it's a bit overcast, but the ground in perfect condition. Yeah,
it's even though we had a bit of rain last night, it's still quite a firm track, and it's going to suit both teams because I think both teams like to play on top of the ground. But it's sort of the conditions that we've been playing in the last 2 weeks. Has been windy days, so casting quite firm underfoot, so it's nothing unusual to both teams.
And Paul, of course, Petone have been restructuring over the last 3 years, and certainly the development initiatives that have been put in place have all come to fruition.
Yeah, that's right. They had a plan a few years ago how they wanted to build a team for the future, but they want to do it with their own local players. And I think in the team right now today we've got 4 guys who played in the Colts last year, so they're just starting to come through and show the fruits of his hard work 3 years ago when it all started.
All right, and you're the captain and the general of this afternoon's team. Paul, I mean, you've said that you're not going to be doing too much. Keep it in the forwards for a while? Yeah,
all we do is just try and play mistake-free football and just try and hold the ball, put some pressure on them and just see how we go from there. It's, they actually had a week off last week up at Hutt, so hopefully they might run out of gas towards the end, but we'll just have to wait and see.
And the support from the Petone clubrooms?
It's just been fantastic. The last 2 weeks down in the clubrooms has been phenomenal down there. It's been packed out till about 3, 4 in the morning, so it's just fantastic at the moment.
And last night the boys stayed together?
No, everybody just went and spent time with their families. It's been a long year. They've been training for about 8, 9 months and spent a lot of time together, so might just want everybody to go back to their families and just have a quiet night last night.
All right, well, good luck for this afternoon's game, Paul, and we'll talk to you after the match.
Cheers, thanks.
Kia ora, good afternoon and welcome along to the 1998 Wellington Rugby League Grand Final here at Fraser Park. Upper Hutt with the ball kicking off, and Eugene Baker. Way down deep, being returned by Petoni's.
Looks to be Malcolm Lewis.
Certainly does, looks to be Malcolm Lewis. Jason Crown with the ball at the moment. He's taken 20 metres out from the Petone line. Ball goes wide to Anthony Farmer. Good run by Anthony Farmer. He picks up about 10 metres.
Yeah, Petone forwards just working it off around the ruck. As Chris Savali brings the ball forward, he's wrapped up by 3 Upper Hutt defenders. Big swarming defence from Upper Hutt early in the game. Nolan, that's Maru Tupai as he takes the ball forward, the prop for Petone. Petone have a look a bit wide now. Paul Howell kicks. Ball bounces awkwardly for the winger. Warren Dowdy picks it up now.
He picks up 5 metres or so on the grandstand side of Fraser Park. Plays it now, Upper Hutt with the ball, swarming defence by Petone. They bring him down, only 2 metres in that run. Warren Dowdy with the ball.
That's Emerson Tafara playing it. They just go one off the ruck, Upper Hutt. It's number 11, Rainer Williams. He gets up, he loses it in the play. Well, that's the first turnover in the match. Upper Hutt's first set of 6 and they've turned the ball over. Inside Petone's half. As referee Mark McCaffrey calls and sets the scrum. About 8 metres into Petone's half. 50 metres in from the sideline. Grant Tortor for Petone to feed. Their scrum, they win the ball. He takes a settle. Sepla Olu, here's a go from dummy half. Runs, makes about 4 metres. Scoots out Jason Crown in. He feeds to Anthony Farmer. He makes a big bullocking run up the middle. He's thrown back by Tom Malu. Tony's still moving the ball. 2 passes out. 4th tackle, who's going dummy half? Paul House got it. Looks to have a go on his own. Looks to feed. Unloads. Jason Crown with the ball. He puts the kick into himself. Eugene Baker, the Upper Hutt fullback, gets along to clean up the kick. Good chase by the Petone defenders as they trap Upper Hutt 10 metres out from their own line.
Toko Graham comes into dummy half, shuffles the ball out, and there we see the loose forward, Willie Iono, making a busting run. John Quello waiting for the ball. Out to Puhiapue, and Andre, he certainly has made an impact this year.
He has. It's the second season at Upper Hutt. He played formerly at North City and for the National League side, and also spent some time in the Metropolitan Cup over in Aussie. Got a lot of experience.
Certainly has, as they get the ball out. Upper Hutt still with the ball, trying to set something up.
They move it out to their centres now. Christian Smith. He gets scragged to the ground by his opposite, Set Laulu. So they set on the last tackle.
Kingy with the kick. Bobs around to the wind, but taken safely by Petoni.
Number 1, that's their fullback, Fusi Feonari. Good take from him. It's Malingi Ioane, gets in the dummy half, he feeds it, goes round on the wrap, takes it himself. Comes up now, 30 metres out from his post. Malcolm Lewis into dummy half. He looks to feed. Here's Mike Luke, the Petoni hard man. Barnstorming run up the middle, takes 3 defenders with him. Crown into dummy half again, moves the ball to Howell. Here comes Chris Savali. Both sets of forwards just sorting each other out now, Ken, as they challenge each other around the middle of the pack.
Well, they certainly do, and of course, a penalty for holding down. Mark McCaffrey has given the penalty to Petoni. The Upper Hutt players just a wee bit enthusiastic in the takedown.
Yeah, just a little bit extra coming into the tackle there, Ken.
As you said, Andre, sorting themselves out. The first 10 minutes is going to be very, very tough.
Well, it's the sort of thing that happens, mate. You've got to dominate up front, you've got to dominate around the ruck, and the guys to do that are the forwards. You see Maru Tupaia taking the ball off of Petoni, the prop, off the ruck. Here comes Anthony Farmer. He breaks the first tackle. Next 2 take him down. They're about 30 metres out from the post. Switch the ball to the other side of the ruck. Paul Howell onto Mike Luke, running hard. He unloads. Oh, unable to finish there. Who put that down? Malcolm Lewis, unable to take the ball off Mike Luke. But good initiative by Petoni. They got the penalty, took the kick, quick tap, moved the ball. 2 passes off the ruck to the forwards, then looked to go back to the other side of the ruck with Paul Howell picking up Mike Luke, but just unable to finish wide with Malcolm Lewis. But they're still at the right end of the field, Ken, as they set the scrum Upper Hutt ball.
Well, they certainly are, and they shouldn't really panic. I mean, all they need to do, although Upper Hutt have come away with the ball, is just hold their ground and steady the tackles, and the ball will come, the mistakes will come.
Well, it's early days, and as we said, the forwards are still sorting their opposition packs out. So there's a long way to go in the game now as Upper Hutt bring the ball out on their 3rd tackle.
There we see Emerson Tawhara with the ball, trying to get away. 3 Petoni tacklers take him down just on halfway. Toko Graham, captain of Upper Hutt, with the ball now as he passes it back inside. John Quello with the ball out along the backline, the Upper Hutt backline. Tom Malu in. Ian Aramoana with the ball.
Oh, great set of play by Upper Hutt as they keep the ball alive, starting right from Tom Malu to Aramoana, and then they hit the wing of Dowdy. Come back across the ruck now as Corey Kingy looks to set, puts the kick up high, holds up in the wind. Fusi Feonari, he's equal to the task. Great take by the big Petoni fullback. He's under a bit of pressure, high ball, swirling wind. He's Set Laulu taking the ball away now from him. So it's Carl Tuatua for Petoni. Oh, strong busting on Malcolm. He's still going. Malcolm Lewis got rid of 2 players, 2 more holding him down. He's made about 15 valuable metres for the Petoni team. As they set themselves,
Jason
Mike Luke, straight off the ruck. There's only one way for that man to go. He'll take him on straight up the middle all day. Crown into dummy half, switches it back across the ruck. Savali brings the ball back into the middle, looks to unload, pops it back to Crown. Crown keeps it going wide to halfback Tuatua. They keep pushing the ball same direction. Howell calls for it, moves the ball back inside to Farmer. They make it to the final tackle. Howell into position, puts the kick in on the last. Baker's back there, great take. Good chase by Petoni. They can't hold him though. He's away.
Eugene Baker certainly managed to make some valuable metres out from goal line, as we see now Warren Dowdy high stepping. Warren Dowdy certainly has been a prolific try scorer this season, Andre.
Oh, he'd be one of the guys with big stats behind next to his name as far as try scoring is for the season.
Upper Hutt throwing everything and the kitchen sink as well. Chris crossing along, Toko Graham with the ball now. What's he going to do? Passes it out. Corey Kingy try to skip a couple and out to Aramoana. Ian dances around, steps out of a couple of feeble tackles, but is taken down on halfway. Upper Hutt still with possession. The number 8, Paul Nielsen, and Paul Nielsen, been away for a couple of seasons, Andre, has decided to come back and play Premier Rugby League.
They could do with a guy of experience like him. He's been around for a long time, got a lot of credits next to his game as far as representative football is concerned. They'll use him up the middle, they use his experience.
They certainly will. Upper Hutt still with the ball, coming back along the back line. Out now to Tom Malu, he steps through one, goes back across the face of the ruck, out to Aramoana. Aramoana on to Warren Dowdy, and there we are. We spoke about it, and he has just crashed over in the corner for the first try of this afternoon's grand final. Warren Dowdy, the flying winger from Upper Hutt. Andre, great try.
Well, you know, it's very interesting as you see the two contrasting styles of play. Petone using their big forwards around the ruck, as we see on the Sportnet replay. Aramoana out to Galvey, comes back across the drift of the defence. They can't hold him, he goes over for the try.
And of course, taking over the going over the try line with him was the halfback Tortor, as well as I think Mike Luke.
Yeah, well, that's right. As I said, Ken, you know, Upper Hutt at this stage they're inclined to throw the ball around. That was the last tackle. I'm just having a quick look at the stats. That was the first set that they've managed to complete, as we see on the Sportnet replay. Tom Malu skips across the ruck, finds Aramoana. Here's the fourth from Dowdy. Here's Dowdy just back across the defence, can't get there. What a try.
Certainly was, and that was the Saturn Sports net replay, and we'll see Christian Smith try and add the 2 extra points. First try of this afternoon's grand final goes to Warren Dowdy from Upper Hutt. 4-0 with the kick still to come.
Tell you, the interesting thing about that, Ken, is that that's the first set of 6 that Upper Hutt have managed to complete. They've turned the ball over, they have a penalty against them. Petone have had more ball. It's only early days, but they haven't been able to get any points out of it, but Upper Hutt have.
And well, they have, and I think it's because Upper Hutt have bided their time. I mean, we all know that Upper Hutt has very, very fleet-footed backs. So Upper Hutt is known for giving the ball a wee bit of air, especially on that last tackle.
Yeah, they've got a lot of ability in the back line and a lot of athleticism. So naturally, if you've got that sort of player in your team, you've got to use them. You've got to give them the ball, let them run.
Well, there we are. The kick was... I couldn't say a coat of paint in that one, Andre. It was pretty woeful from Christian Smith.
He missed, mate. So he missed.
But however, 4-0 on the scoreboard. Upper Hutt in front in this afternoon's Wellington Rugby League Grand Final.
Yeah, it's a big day for Upper Hutt here today, Ken. You know, they're used to grand finals. They've been here on a number of occasions before. In the most recent times, 1997 they won the final, 93, 92 and back in 1990. In contrast to Petoni, 1988 was the last time they were here for grand finals.
Well, 10 years they've waited for this, and Mike Edmund certainly has got the guys prepared well for this afternoon's clash.
Well, they've had good build-up. You know, they've managed to knock over the teams along the way. You know, talking about Mike Edmonds, he's a guy of a lot of mana and a lot of experience in the game. You know, he's played in 7 grand finals, and here he is today. He's bringing his home team back to a final as a coach as they force a turnover on Upper Hutt. Petone get the ball 15 metres in front of the post.
And I suppose the irony of it all too is he also coached Upper Hutt to a grand final win against the then champions Wainui.
Well, he did too, Ken, back in 1997.
Andre, it's glad to see that you have been doing your homework.
Oh, it's written on the back of my hand. Here, look, Petone forcing the turnover themselves and giving the ball back to Upper Hutt, losing a prime chance as Puria brings the ball out for Upper Hutt. They're about 40 metres out from the Petone try line.
There we see the last 2 tackles. Mike Luke has been heavily involved in both tackles, and he's certainly pushing for a place in next year's Māori side.
Oh, mate, he's been very impressive. Very impressive. Here's Tom Malu. He's thick in the action. Just selected for the trial for the New Zealand resident side.
Great feed.
Good unload. Christian Smith. Well, what a try.
2 tries, 5 minutes, inside 5 minutes of the last one, and of course there we saw Corey Kingi running across the face of the line, holding the ball out and keeping the Petone players in 2 minds.
Well, I'll put it down to this man here on the Sportnet replay, Tom Malu. He brought it back across the ruck, fed the ball out to Smith. He goes over for the try. Tom Malu was involved in that play and that set of 6 twice. You know, a guy of his experience has been around. He's played for the New Zealand juniors, selected for the New Zealand residence trials, spotting the opportunities and taking them for the team. And here we are, they come up with the try.
Well, there we go. A try on either side of the field as we watch the Saturn Sports net replay. Tom Malu, as you say, a beautiful pass to Corey Kingy, who ran across and held the ball there for what seemed to be an eternity, and then out to Christian Smith, and Christian Smith in the corner. And of course he'll try and convert his own try from this side of the field this time. Let's hope the wind is favourable from this side of the paddock.
Well, there is a fair bit of wind out there, Ken. You know, it's a swirling type of wind that's going to affect, obviously, when you're having a shot at goal. But, you know, looking back at that try earlier, Corey Kingy, you know, we didn't see it until the replay, the part that he played in the game, unloading the ball, you know, one-handed to give Christian Smith the run to the right. It's good skills.
It certainly is, and Corey, one of the other players who was selected for the modern team last year, see Christian Smith try, and I'd have to say a co-patent that one just away. Upper Hutt 8-0 in the first half of this year's Wellington Rugby League Grand Final here at Fraser Park, and of course the crowd really have turned out on a cold and blustery day.
Well, there's about 3,000 people here today, Ken. You know, that's a good turnout for the game. It's always tough going to get numbers at sports, particularly rugby league, with the way the game's been going. But today, grand final day, we've got 3,000 odd people here, and they're watching a brilliant start to the 1998 grand final.
And I must say, since 1 o'clock this afternoon, Andre has been going around and counting the crowd. Good skills, Andre. 3,500, very good. Petoni, Paul Howell has the ball, kicks it off, and Toko Graham. What's the ref called? It did go back. So Toko Graham still with that one. Ian Aramwana comes in.
Paul Nielsen, the big experienced prop. He brings the ball forward, straight off the ruck. That's the place the props need to be. Puhi works the other side of the ruck.
Taken quite heavily at Fraser Park as we see Upper Hutt spin the ball wide. Toko passes it back inside.
Well, they certainly are trying things. You see they ran a double block move on the inside off the pivot. It's early days in the game, they're still willing to move the ball. See Emerson Tarpata trying to work around the outside. He's taken by Mike Luke. Up I have a run from dummy half. Corey Kingy chips over. Oh, he's putting it out, put the ball out on the full.
Unfortunately, the ball's gone into touch, and touch judge Irene Mallard right on the job.
Well, it's good initiative by the Wellington Rugby League, not showing any bias towards men in the game. We'll see there was a women's grand final going on the other field, and we've got a women's touch judge in the game today, Kim.
Well, that's good. In actual fact, they could have given her the whistle. But no, that job belongs to Blue McCaffrey this afternoon, of course, with the linesmen or lines people, Alan Prentice and Irene Mallard, as we see Petoni with the ball now. Jason Crown into dummy half, out to Paul Hale. There we go. Mike Luke does a wee bit of a dance, a wee bit slippery underfoot, I'd say. Stopped by Paul Nielsen. Petoni still with the ball as they come this side of the field. Malcolm Lewis certainly has been a great player.
Oh, he's picked up and shoved back there by Johnny Kello.
Paul Howe puts the kick in. And Warren Dowdy will let that ball go over the line. It certainly is great, Andre, to see that people have come out this afternoon. They've braved the elements. Looking at the skies, one would have thought it was going to rain, but the rain seems to have stayed away, and people are enjoying a great afternoon of rugby league here in Fraser Park.
Well, mate, if the weather stays like it is, it's overcast, still firm underneath on the foot, we're still going to see a lot of good open running football. You see the scrum set, 10 metres out from the Upper Hutt line. Upper Hutt feed the ball. Martin McCaffrey not happy with the setting of the scrum, sets him again. They move the ball straight away to winger Warren Dowdy. He goes over the top of his opposite number. They bring him down, play the ball on the first tackle.
Toko Graham with the ball.
Looks to step and jig. Mike Luke comes in and gives him a bit of a swish over the top. It's okay though. It's only chest height. We sort of see early tactics developing with Upper Hutt. Props moving one or two off the ruck, and then the pivots coming in and moving the ball to one or two passes out to their second rowers running. Typical Upper Hutt style of play.
Well, it certainly is, and Upper Hutt have proved that this is a tried and true method to the number of grand finals that they've won, as we see Toko Graham trying to get rid of the ball, manages to wriggle out of the tackle, but is taken by Anthony Farmer.
On the final now. Here they go, keeping it alive on the last. Still got the bus, keeping it open. Well, the ref's called a play on.
Paul Nielsen.
That's a recount, 6 tackles. Upper Hutt got the ball again.
Ball must have been touched by Petoni then Andre.
Yeah, it was. Come off the Petoni defender. A lot of pressure on the Petoni defence line as Upper Hutt come up with their back-to-back set of 6.
Paul Nielsen with the ball now as he tries to barge his way forward. Makes 5 valuable metres. Here we see John Quello full of running now.
Has a go on his own. That's centre field, just in front of the post. Turn the ball back in on the inside to Tom Malu. He looks, flicks it out the back door. It's Willie Owen who cleans up from loose forward. Puhia unable to hold on to that ball.
A wee bit scrappy at the moment. Play just getting a wee bit scrappy as we see Malcolm Lewis take down Puhia. But could be because Upper Hutt trying too much this early in the game, Andre.
Well, I've got to agree with you, Ken. You know, that's one of the dangers when you do throw the ball around and you do get away with it, is that you keep trying it. Sometimes there's stages in the game when all you got to do is be a bit patient, be level-headed about where you're going with the game plan.
And okay, let's talk about the win factor. 10-12 point win factor. The wind seems to be blowing in Upper Hutt's favour if we look at the flags in the in-goal area.
Well, it's a factor if when they put the kick in they get yards and they get chases. So it can be, yeah, Ken. Petoni come away over the ball. Mike Luke, hard, strong off the ruck. Again, look, 2-3 players. He's a strong man, this Mike Luke. Guys are still lying on the ground after he's played the ball. Chris Savali, he comes, the prop, running 3 off the ruck. Petoni keep moving the ball in the same direction. Howe looking, turns the ball back inside to Sepp Laulu. Laulu's still alive, standing, unloads the ball. Oh, what a tackle.
2 standoffs come together, Corey Kingy and Paul Howe. Paul Howe still looks to be just a wee bit dazed over that one. And Mark McCaffrey.
Here we go. They kept the ball alive.
Pandemonium here at Fraser Park as the big man Mike Luke scores the first try for Petoni. 8-4 at the moment, and the Upper Hutt players standing around as we watch the Saturn Sportsnet replay. Petoni managed to get the ball out, put in the little chip, and then it was a bobble. Who wanted it? There we see Petoni with the ball, and Mark McCaffrey signal that it was a recount, and of course Mike Luke picked up the ball, scrambled over the goal for a try.
Well, you can put that back to 2 plays earlier when Sepp Laulu brought the ball up down the touch side of the field, made the bus. And here's the Sportnet replay. We see Malcolm Lewis who put the chip in, Jason Graham following up, Chris Grant Tuatua picks it up, unloads to Mike Luke. He goes across really unopposed to score the try. Paul Howe with the kick. Tony 4, Upper Hutt 8. Can he make the conversion?
And of course, with Paul Howe playing rugby league, going, having a season at rugby and coming back.
We see the kick.
Unsuccessful with that kick was the Petoni captain and standoff, Paul Howe. And as I was saying, he had a season in rugby, Andre, did very well, but of course has decided to come back to the game he loves.
Well, not only that, mate, he went over to Widnes and had a stint with professional football in England. Circumstances being, well, the man's back here playing league in Wellington. It's good to have a guy of his calibre here back on the field for Petoni. You know, he's got a prolific representative career. Played for Wellington, New Zealand Māoris, trialist teams, you name it. You know, he's been just that one step away from probably making the Kiwis earlier on in his career. It's good to see him here for Petoni.
Well, it certainly is, and of course Mike Edmonds would have really teed him up as we see a short kickoff by Upper Hutt, who managed to gather the ball back.
Well, you can't turn your back on these guys. They keep the ball alive on the last tackle. 10-metre kick to the blind side from the kickoff, and they come up with the ball. So we see Seploulu getting underneath him, trying to pick him up. Malingi Ioane coming over to help with the tackle.
Paul Nielsen with
Here's
the
the
ball.
old campaigner Nielsen.
Up with the ball, back to Toko Graham. What's he doing? Holding the ball, pops it inside for Tom Malu. Tom still got it out to John Quello before he's brought down, and the whistle gone. What's the referee called? Knock on. Lost the ball.
Well, Petoni get out there with that one, being able to come away with the scrum feed.
Petoni with the ball now.
It's Malingi Ioane coming in off his wing, trying to take some pressure off the forward pack, relieving them running from dummy half. Petoni just content to settle it from dummy half as Crown comes into the dummy half and feeds Mike Luke. He comes straight off the ruck, gets rid of Tom Malu, still going. There we go, look. He gets up to play the ball. There's 3-4 guys left behind the play after he gets up off the ground, mate. Chris Savali.
Chris Savali, one of the Petoni hard men. Jason Crown in at dummy half. Down to Paul Howell. Paul will put the little kick in. Eugene Baker, what's he going to do? He'll let it run over the dead ball line. And it was pretty close.
He just waited that with enough patience because Carl Tortor, the Petoni winger, was streaming in from behind. So see Puhia bringing the ball out from the 22. Emerson Tapara with the ball now, the upper Hutt winger, coming in looking for plenty of work. Second tackle. Ball goes to ground. Picked up by Rainer Williams with the headgear. He goes down on the third tackle.
And of course, Rainer Williams, son of one of the strongmen of Upper Hutt Rugby League, Elvis Williams.
Oh, he certainly is. Here he goes, Toko Graham, but he's collared down from behind by Anthony Farmer. He says, come here, you're going nowhere.
Corey Kingy with the ball now. Puts it out to Eugene Baker. Very strong charge by Baker. Upper Hutt fullback.
They're on the last now. What are they going to do? They're going to kick, they're going to run. Kingy takes it to the line, puts the little chip in. Fusi Fionati up, Petoni fullback, in place for the grounding of the ball, picking it up.
I noticed with that one, the Petoni team sort of stayed back, Andre. Not something you can do with Upper Hutt.
Well, mate, you know, with what's happened so far in the game, running it on the last tackle, kicks going to the blind side on the kickoff, they're unpredictable. So maybe they are in two minds. Are they going to run or are they going to kick? They're hanging back. That's going to cost them if they keep up that sort of attitude. They've just got to get up there, man with the ball, they've got to take them.
And there we see the Petoni fullback, Fusi Fuanati, with the ball. Runs it back very, very strongly. Crown in dummy half. Mike Luke, the strong man of Petoni. Chris Savali now in another strong campaigner as Chris Savali, as he's crashed and banged.
Here's Malcolm Lewis, he's got the ball up the centre of the field. Pulled down from behind. Petoni move again. Mike Luke with the ball. This guy's everywhere.
He certainly is, and Mike Luke certainly is having a great influence in what happens for Petoni as we see the high kick go up, taken by Upper Hutt.
There's Corey Kingy going up, take the kick. Emerson Tawhara, the winger, coming in, gets rid of one, gets rid of two. Oh, he gets cleaned up from behind by Jason Crown. Chris Savali gesturing at his players to come on, get the defence over here, come and help me.
Corey King complaining by about a fist being thrown. Upper Hutt still with the ball. There we see Ian Adamwan as he breaks a couple of tackles. Warren Dowdy, and Warry's got it again. Still manages to get up and keep the ball.
Dowdy's still alive. They can't hold him, the big Fijian winger.
And it took Anthony Farmer to get over there and scrag him down as we see Puhia Puhe with the ball off to John Quello.
Oh, great unload. Upper Hutt still have numbers wide, lining them up.
Paul Nielsen now throws it across the face
Williams with the ball back across the ruck. Here's Malu. Skirts across. They can't hold it.
Can't hold it, and unfortunately a good move gone wrong, I suppose, Andre.
Well, we're just looking at the referee's call here. He's taking it back for the knock-on.
The Saturn Sportsnet replay shows
Here's
us
Malu.
Upper Hutt with the ball. And there we are, that's where the breakdown was. Two men in the same space at once.
Well, they've come up with a turnover again.
6 more, and there we see Heath Goodley on, and
That's the fresh sub for Upper Hutt.
and I tell you, I have been impressed with the way Heath Goodley's played all season, Andre.
Well, he's honest, no frills, gets out there, head down, does the business. Oh,
And there we see as we come back, Upper Hutt trying to send the ball out wide. The ball spilling into touch as
Heath
we
Goodley.
see the run from Heath Goodley, the fresh sub on.
yeah, good run by Heath, took it to the centre of field. Interested to see who's he come on for, Ken, can you tell?
Well, the other one I see on is at the moment Terence Puna in number 16.
Well, it looks as if Paul Nelson put him on the bench for a spell, and Goodley's come on for him. See now Fusi Felnati, the upper Petoni fullback, plays the ball. Jason Crown into half, feeds Hal. Maru Tapaya, big busting run up the middle, still manages to get it away. Tortor unloads. Luke. Farmer into dummy half. Now Jacob Crown, brother of Jason, he's in. They're still keeping the ball alive. But
There we see just a slight knock forward to Carl Tortor, and he'd be pretty disgusted with that, Andre.
yeah, well, they had a roll on, you know. They're unable to complete the set of 6. So referee Mark McCaffrey sets the scrum. Upper Hutt feed.
I see in the background there the Upper Hutt chairman, Tyrone Pike here, of course former coach of the Premier side.
It's Terence Puna taking the ball away for Upper Hutt.
Corey Kingy with the ball now.
Looks like Puna's come on in the centres for Christian Smith.
Maybe to improve the goal kicking for Upper Hutt.
Upper Hutt just grinding away now around the ruck, settling it down. Same play, Puhi, the prop. Skirts across the field, he's taken by Anthony Farmer. Toko Graham into dummy half. Tom Malu switches the play, runs across the ruck, but Farmer's got him. Malu still gets it away to Willie Ionu. Ionu the loose forward for Upper Hutt. He gains about 3 or 4 metres. Kilo into dummy half. Graham. He moves the ball now out to Corey Kearing. Dummies on the inside. Dummies 2 on the inside, and comes Eugene Baker. Ducks under a high one. Mike Luke, he slips over. He's still going. Baker's still going. Keeps the ball alive. It's gone back. Oh, but they're unable to finish.
Ball rolls into touch, and as you say, Mark McCaffrey is called for a halt and play. And if we look at the Saturn Sports net replay, of course, Corey King ducked under a high one.
Well, that was from Seplaolu, and that's the second time he's done that in the game. I'll tell you what, McCaffrey will be aware of it. They keep that sort of thing up, it's going to cost someone. Someone will end up in the bin. Upper Hutt get the penalty. They elect to tap it, keep the ball on the run. Through the hands, Willie Ionu picks up Puna. Puna's tackled. As Mike Edmonds brings in another sub for them.
And that's the only way to stop Heath Goodley, mate, is to take both his feet and hang on to them. Toko Graham with the ball.
Tackle. He twists, turns. Now, mate, he must be a coat of paint away from the try line.
He's got to be, as Upper Hutt spinning the ball out through Toko Graham. Tom
Malu goes over the top of him. Get out of the way, he says, I'm going to score. Puts the try down. Puts the ball down behind the line. Who did he go over? Paul Howe by the looks of him. Well, a bit of sustained pressure there by Upper Hutt.
Well, there it is, as we see the Upper Hutt crowd at the back of the goalpost certainly go up as we look at the Saturn Sportsnet replay.
It's good play. Good play by Toko Graham. He brings in Puhia. Look at Tom Malu. He's there. He's calling. He knows it's on. He's calling for the ball. Graham to Malu. He tells Paul how to get out of the way. Puts the try down. Well, what you've got there, mate, you've got 150 kgs running up against 80 kgs. You know who's going to win.
You certainly do. It's like a fire truck going up against a taxi cab. Who's elected to take the kick? Well, there we see the Saturn Sportsnet replay now, and of course Tom Malu, as you see it, Andre calling for the ball out to Toko Graham.
You can see Petone are short on numbers. Well, there we can see the only guy in front of him was Paul Howe, and there's no way that a guy who's 115 kgs that can run is going to get stopped by a guy that's only about 80, 85, that close to the line.
You're right.
Big man on the small man, big guy's going to win.
Certainly is, and of course time just being halted as Corey Kingy resets the ball. He's been asked to come in and do the kicking while Christian Smith is off the paddock, and of course Corey, not really known for his kicking, has kicked for Upper Hutt. I would say he's had about 30% success rate.
Well, he's been called up today to make it happen for them in the finals.
It is, and there'll be a lot of pressure on this young guy.
Here we go. We see Tom Malu is the kick. It's there. Tom Malu showing the sort of form in the last 10-15 minutes of play that's got him selection for that residential trial.
Yes, you're right there as Corey Kingy converts the try by Tom Malu. So Upper Hutt leading at the moment.
14 points to 4. See Petoni come back to halfway to reset. Paul Howe probably shaking a few cobwebs out of his head after Malu went over the top of him. That's what this game's about.
It's about doing the basics right. It's a game of skill, as they say, Andre. There he is, Toko Graham. Great take, Heath Goodley.
Oh, he winds himself up well. What a good run. Takes two players with him. Williams off the ruck. Still looking to unload.
Taken by Paul Howe. John Quello with the ball out to Toko Graham. Toko to Ian Aramoana.
Well, he's finally finished up over the top. What's the ref going to say? Referee Mark McCaffrey may have called played ball.
Ian Aramoana just walking back, taking in quite a heavy tackle here at Fraser Park in this afternoon's Wellington Grand Final.
Moving for the tap now. Doughty comes off the wraparound, takes the ball forward centre field, 35-40 metres out from the try line. Williams comes in, just settles him down around the ruck. Puhia looks to set himself to come straight off the ruck on the next ball. Upper Hutt just being very specific about where they're going to land at this part of the field, where the players are going to run. Switch of play, Willie Ionu. To Malu, he can't hold it. It's a turnover.
And Upper Hutt in that particular movement seemed to have a roll on Andre and just
well, it was a set play. It was a planned move. They got themselves to the middle of the field, switched it back across the ruck, but couldn't hold it. See Maru Tupai bringing the ball away. He's a strong lad.
Certainly has been very impressed with him all season, Maru Tupai.
That's another replacement, Rongo Russell. He's on the field for Petoni. He's been to grand final days before, played for Marist on the wing back in 1995. Mike Luke, still going forward, still struggling. I'll say it every time.
Yeah.
Every time he takes the ball forward and when he gets up, there's two guys lying on the ground. Mike Antipas plays the ball. Tony moves it wide through Howe. Malcolm Lewis looks to go around the outside. Brings Malingi Ioane back on the inside. Malingi skips the first tackle. Strong game. Now he's held. Last tackle. How's in position? What's the kick up? High one. Who's underneath for Upper Hutt? Warren Dowdy got a sweep out of his hands. They still come up with the ball. Tuckle Graham, fortunately in there to clean up. Malu feeds off from dummy half. They just settle it down, bringing it out from dummy half. Emerson Tawhara, the big Upper Hutt winger, coming in looking for work. Tuckle Graham in there. First receiver calling the shots, looking for the runners. Ian Aramoana, the centre, comes in. They move it wide pretty quickly to Warren Dowdy. He skips through one, still going, but held by Mike Luke and Sepp Laulu. Tuckle Graham appealing to referee Mark McCaffrey there for interference and holding down in the play the ball area.
Of course, Mark McCaffrey having his first grand final may have been helped with his judgment. Tuckle Graham, an old campaigner.
Oh, well, you know, that's part of the job of the experienced players in the team, to question the referee, look for appeals. Do everything to give your team an advantage. Upper Hutt a bit lost there, looking for runners. Corey King is caught on his own. Here's the forwards now, here comes Heath Goodley. The replacement second row, goes hard, gains him about 3-4 valuable metres. Switch the ball back across the ruck. Graham looks on the inside, looks to dummy runners. Malu now. The ball being spilled. Looks to be a bit of confusion out there, Ken.
Well, there is, maybe there's too many generals in that back line. Tuckle seems to be screaming orders, and so does Corey Kingy. So, as you say, could be just a wee bit of confusion.
Well, they're pretty confident because they're getting away with throwing the ball around, so they're trying to do it all the time. As I said, you can't play the whole game like that. You've got to stiffen it up sometimes.
Yeah. Oh. And just as you say that, we see a
talk about stiffening
tackle on Pussy Fuanati.
You got one from Rainer Williams. As we see Jacob Crown ducking under a couple of tackles. Mike Luke, he's in the play again. Rainer Williams goes in for another big shot on him. Luke bounces off it, keep going. Mike Luke got up, played the ball and said, give me more.
He did, as we see Howell pass the ball back inside
to Mike Antipas. Howell dancing, skipping.
And of course Mike Antipas in the tackle just prior to that, was brought down in one of the only muddy pieces on the whole pitch.
Yeah, it's pretty boggy there.
You see Petone tried to put the little kick in. Alright, and with that, 14-4 is the halftime score from here at Fraser Park in the 1998 Wellington Rugby League Grand Final. Andre, it certainly has been a contrasting first half.
Yeah, it certainly has. Upper Hutt, very content to throw the ball around up, and Petone trying to drive them up through the middle. But working really well for Upper at the moment as they lead the Wellington Grand Final 14-4.
The Wellington Rugby League Grand Final, Paul Howell with the ball, steadies himself and get ready for another 40 minutes, Andre, of intense rugby league.
Well, big half for Upper Hutt, mate, tries to Warren Dowdy, Christian Smith, Tom Malu and Christian Kingy. Corey Kingy coming up with the kick. 14-4 as they lead with the kickoff. Upper Hutt return the ball from the goal line.
There we see it looks as if
it's Puhia with the ball.
It is John Quello out the back door. Heath Goodley as he makes 10 or so valuable metres.
Well, I'll tell you one thing Mike Edmonds probably would have said to his players at half time, and that's to move up on defence. They're letting Upper Hutt move the ball. They're throwing it around on the last, and then the Petone defence is starting to stand back and watch, waiting to see what happens. They can't afford to do that. They've got to go up and they've got to put them under pressure.
There we see Williams skips through a wee bit of a gap, manages to get it out. And there we see number 4 for Upper Hutt, Aramoana, as he does a wee bit of dance, tosses it up. Corey Kingy with the ball, tries to get through a couple, and his pass goes to ground. So Petone come over the ball. A great move, just executed, I suppose, in the wrong way.
Well, they just lost it on the last pass, which they probably didn't need to give, but still showing Here they go,
on the
inside
Saturn
ground.
Sports net replay. Up Hutt with the ball, Aramoana.
Goes to the ground, brings it back up to Corey Kingy. He's held, all he had to do there was take the tackle and get the quick play of the ball. Kilo couldn't hold on to it. As Petoni come away with the ball now.
Almost down to halfway as we see Malcolm Lewis. There we see Big Anthony Farmer. Big run, makes about 10 metres.
But he's a very strong man. I've seen him in the gym a couple of years back. He's bench pressing 150 kgs. That's an example of how strong that guy is. Of course, it doesn't help you if you can't tackle or catch the ball.
No, well, that's true. And
if you can do that, bench pressing 150 kgs helps.
Well, just looking at you, you're around 145, Andre. So, yes, 150 would certainly be...
I've got a big coat on.
All right, Upper Hutt with the ball. Toko Graham will feed the scrum. And just looking at the Upper Hutt side, what do you think Ronnie Hohua would have been telling the boys at half-time?
He probably would have told them to be a bit more patient sometimes when they've got the ball, although what's working for them is keeping it alive. So if something's working, he's probably going to tell them to keep doing it.
Paul Howell, Mike Luke, and Mike Luke straight back into the thick of it, steps through a couple of feeble tackles before he's knocked to the ground. Here we see Jason Crown coming in with the ball. Anthony Farmer again pushes off one.
There goes Paul Howell.
Paul Howell tries to skip around Aramoana, but Aramoana equal to the task. Jason Crown out the back door. Here we see
Maru Tupaia. He went in there with a hit and spin, looked to unload. The momentum took him down though, he couldn't get it away. Lewis turns Luke back on the inside. Pussy Fionati still keeps it going. That's Howell with the ball now. About a metre out. They have a go from dummy half. Who was that? Malcolm Lewis tried to run from dummy half. They've got to put the pressure on them in here now. Go in with an all-out blitz defence for the whole 6 tackles. They can't watch. You know, the sort of thing they've got to do. Sort of thing Petoni's got to do is watch the backdoor pass that Upper Hutt are doing. You know, for example, in that case, Upper Hutt are still managing to get the ball away on some occasions. They've got to stay awake, stay alive.
Well, they are, as we see Corey Kingy monstered here at Fraser Park. He'll get up and play the ball. John Quello out to Toko Graham. There we see Emerson Tawhara. He comes flying into the back line. Takes 3 Petoni defenders to actually stop him and bring him down. Ball will come back this way as we see Rainer Williams now running with the ball, and some good meters from Rainer Williams. Mike Luke, of course, bringing him down. Upper Hutt still with the ball.
That's Puhi, mate. He was trying to work in there to try and find Tom Malu on the inside. Graham goes back across the ruck. They're still keeping it alive on the last tackle. Tawhara comes back in, ducks under a high tackle. He's still going. Well, they forced the turnover, forced him to the sideline. As I said with Petoni, Ken, that's one thing they'll do is keep bustling on defence. If Upper Hutt know they can get away with moving the ball, they'll keep trying to do that. If your defensive line can chase them and hustle them, it'll put them under a lot of pressure if the defence is making them lose the ball.
Well, it certainly will, and there we see Toko Graham out with the ball. Corey Kingy across the face, around Paul Howell, bringing in Aramoana. He manages to get round. Well, just about manages to get round the Petoni defence.
Terence Puna now bringing it up off the ruck. The replacement player. Tom Malu looking for the ball on the inside. Unloads. Kilo dances. Still keeps it alive.
Catch and pass, the name of the game.
Emerson Tawhara, the big strong Upper Hutt winger, but the Petoni defence swarms over.
There he goes, number 13, Willie Iono, and the Upper Hutt crowd certainly look happy with that one. And I think it was a lost ball, or what's Mark McCaffrey saying?
It looked as if the ball... Here we go, we see the ball alive now is Kilo. Moves it out to Graham. Graham keeping the ball alive to Willie Iono. Here's Tawhara. Swarming Petoni, he lost it forward. Ball went forward first. We might get a better shot from this angle. There they goes, we carry on with the play. Petoni come away with the ball. Farmer keeps the ball alive, unloads back in on the inside. Crown ducks under one, still going.
Brought down by Kingi and Naramoana.
Here's that man, Mike Luke, looking for work. Gets rid of one, rid of two. Still on his feet, still dancing.
And Heath Goodley still holding on.
Still held on, mate. Here's Tupaia. Tony working it out now. They're just about at the halfway marks. Mike Luke with his second run in the set of 6. He takes them another 10 metres over the halfway. Final tackle, Paul Howe's in position. Sets the kick, goes high. Malcolm Lewis and Ronald Russell chasing with Howell on the inside, but good take by Eugene Baker. He gets away.
Not from Anthony Farmer. He does
that's good chasing by the
come
big
here,
fella.
you're in my house.
Big chase by Farmer. Warren Dowdy looks to come back. It's a couple of tired Petone defenders standing on the sideline.
Toko Graham monstered by a couple of Petone defenders as he gets up and plays the ball. John Quello's got it now. And there we see the Upper Hutt player standing for a long time looking for someone to pass it to. Quello with the ball. Back to Corey Kingi. Kingi inside to Tom Malu. Great take by Tom Malu, and there we go, Corey Kingi. Ball has gone to ground, and of course the referee will blow it up. We'll see a scrum go down, Petone ball.
Well, that looks like that's a tactic Upper Hutt's talked about at half-time. In the first half, they've managed to beat them out wide, move the ball. Now they're taking the ball back in around the middle. You can see Tom Malu in the last 2 or 3 sets of plays when Upper Hutt's had the ball. It's been a deliberate ploy to bring him back on the inside.
And a couple of the Petone team there breathing heavy.
Well, they're having to work hard, they're having to chase. It's always harder to defend than attack, Ken. And they've been doing a lot of the chasing in this game up to this stage.
Well, they certainly have, as we see an injury to one of the Upper Hutt props, Tom Malu, or one of the Upper Hutt second rowers.
I see Chris Savali's come back on the field too. They've so obviously one of the Petone front rowers have gone off.
Anthony Farmer standing there, Jason Crown.
Mike Edmonds using the interchange, bringing the big men back on.
They'll set that scrum again. In goes the ball.
Referee Mark McCaffrey not happy with the way the scrum went down. He wants them to do it again.
That's the third scrum they've set so far. I thought only Rugby did that. Toto out the back door onto Paul Howell, pops it inside.
That's Fusi Fionati coming in from fullback. They picked him up with an inside ball. Crown darts away, the loose forward on his own. He's taken by Goodley and Kello. They run a block ball. Mike Antipas. Looking again. Here's Chris Savali. Just come back on the field fresh. Drives them out towards the sideline.
Tortor with the ball. Does a bit of a dance. Taken by Quello and Goodley.
Paul Howell, he's got a big line up outside him.
Goes to the air, or just the chip kick. Eugene Baker brings it back. 5 metres gained in that one, but safe hands with Eugene Baker.
Good chase by Malcolm Lewis too, mate. Pulled him down.
There we see Emerson Tawhara with the ball, steps through one. Couple of feeble tackles, they're falling off tackles now, Petone, and that could be a sign of tiredness, Andre.
It could be too, mate. This guy Tawhara, he's had a busy game for a winger. You see Willie Onu, the loose forward, taking the ball away. Dummies inside, dummies out, he's still going. Flicks it back over, here's Dowdy down the sideline. The big winger. They forced the turnover. Sepp Lolu, Tony centre. He recovers the lost ball, still going. Turns it back on the inside to Farmer, the big second rower from Petone.
3 players needed to bring Anthony Farmer down.
Here comes the big fullback, Fusi Fionati. They could use him. He's a big man. He's probably about 105 kgs for a fullback. They need a bit more muscle to come up around the pack. They could use him coming in and doing some work.
Mike Luke, Malcolm Lewis, Jason Crown into dummy half.
Here's Savali. Williams hangs one on him. Can't hold on though. They get the ball away. Crown with the chip and chase. Well, that was close.
Certainly was, and that certainly shows that you can't go to sleep with guys like Jason Crown chasing as we watch the set replay. Tom Malu in a wee bit of difficulty there, certainly has had a very strong game for Upper Hutt in this afternoon's grand final.
Well, he's been a big point of difference for them with his changing of the play, running across the ruck, changing the variation, the bringing the ball back on the inside, and obviously with his size and strength, you see him in the first half going over the top of Paul Howe to score a try. The Petoni team, they return the ball from the drop out into the post. Here comes Mike Antipas, straightens up. They bring him down. He's got to get a quick play of the ball if they want to get advantage. Jacob Crown has a go on his own, the loose forward. They pull him down. He's about 4 metres out from the post.
Brother Jason across the back line. Here we see big running.
Well, that's the one they were looking for, bringing in the big man Savali. Out wide, he come in 3 passes out.
Anthony Farmer with the ball now. He's monstered by 3 Upper Hutt defenders.
Well, there's no fear in that Upper Hutt defence. Those are 2 big men. They stopped them and chucked them back.
Howell with the ball.
Paul Howell looks to try and find a half gap.
Last tackle for Petoni.
Whoa. Whoa, that's a big point in the game for Petoni now. They get their ball for the 3rd set of 6. A lot of pressure now on the Upper Hutt defence. Petoni have got to try and turn this into points. So you see Paul Howe looking for the opportunity, went into dummy half on the Sportnet replay, chips. Tuckle Brown knocking it off.
And we'll see a scrum put down, all of about 5 metres out from the Petoni goal line as we see Mike Luke with the ball. Passes
it off. Ioane comes in off the wing, off Luke. Mike Luke, he's got it, looks to pass. Laulu gets rid of 1, steps back in on the inside, turns, keeps it alive. Jason Crown, 2 metres out from the line, he's held.
What can Petoni come up with now?
Paul Howe, Toa course with the ball. Malinga Ioane, he's running hard, he's onto the ball, it's a try! Well, they had to succumb to that, Ken. 3 sets of tackles, sets of 6. Petoni got the ball, they had to come up with points, so we see on the Sportnet replay. Malcolm Lewis fires a wide ball to Malinga Ioane as he fingers to his supporters, it's a try.
Petoni first to score in the second half of this afternoon's Wellington Rugby League Grand Final, and that certainly will pick them up, Andre.
Yeah, well, it's something they needed. They needed to score first. We see here again on the Sportnet replay. Lewis fires the ball out to Ioane, who happened to be on the outside of Tafara. Tafara couldn't bring him down. You see Malingi go over, puts the finger up as he scores the try. Thank you, 4 points.
14-8 at the moment, as Paul Howell will try and convert Malingi Ioane's try.
It's high,
but it's a waste.
Hasn't got the direction. So the score remains Upper Hutt Tigers 14, Petoni Panthers 8 in the Wellington 1998 Grand Final. So Upper Hutt bring the ball back to halfway and set to kick off 2 Upper Hutt. Well, Ken, what do you think of these Petoni supporters, mate? They've got a haka party behind the line. Well, barracking on for their team.
Being as unbiased as I am, so have Upper Hutt.
Well, it's good to see that both teams have got them here.
Well, they certainly need the support, and both clubs have been known for their support throughout the season and seasons.
Oh, it's good, you know. Both teams from the Hutt Valley today. We see a good strong show of support of rugby league people out in the Hutt Valley today, Ken.
Well, we certainly do, and I think your 3,500 has just gone up to 4,000.
What's the call? Oh, that's a big error by Petoni. That's certainly something they didn't need. You know, they needed to capitalise on scoring the points, and you know, simple thing is to catch the ball from the kickoff, and they couldn't ground it. Now find themselves underneath their post, having to kick out and give Upper Hutt a prime field positioning to try and turn into points, and or keep Petoni under pressure.
Well, you're right, and Mike Edmonds won't be happy with that. we see Paul Howe kick out from his own goal line.
That's a good kick by Howe. He's got 50, 60 metres.
Halfway, it has.
Puhia for Upper Hutt brings it back strongly. Well, that's a good run. He made 20 metres on that run. Heath Godley, the replacement second row, he goes hard. And Savali's got him. Howe wraps him up.
Quello, Tuckle Graham, Tom Malu. What's Tom going to do? He tries to go through a couple of Petoni defenders. He's brought down. Tuckle Graham into dummy half. What's Tuckle going to do with the ball? He comes to the right-hand side of the paddock.
Rainer Williams. Oh,
Corey Kingy couldn't hold the pass, as we see Paul Howe now trying to bring it out. Petoni still with the ball, a recount, so Mark McCaffrey is saying.
That's Fossi Fionati, Petoni fullback, he gets up and plays it. Rongo Russell, the replacement winger, comes in and runs strongly from dummy half. It's taken by Puhia and Goodley. They just skirt out from dummy half. Malingi Ioane, the try scorer. Jason Crown into dummy half. Here comes Farmer, big charging run. Oh! Tom Malu said, take that. Don't come round here, this is mine.
You've just knocked on the wrong door, says Tom Malu, in a great tackle of
and he's
Anthony
in again.
Farmer.
He goes looking for Mike Luke. Last tackle. They move the ball. Howe keeps the ball alive. Shift it wide to Rongo Russell. Chips over the top. It's bad luck for Rongo, but really for Petoni. They've got to be a little bit more specific about what they're doing at the end of the play. They're just throwing it around, hoping for something.
Take him on, Rongo.
I see a wee bit of cramping in the legs of Aramoana, the Upper Hutt centre. Upper Hutt playing the ball now. There we see high-stepping Warren Dowdy. He's already left a couple of tackles behind. Manages to make about 10 metres. He'll get up and play the ball. John Quello. Here we go, Ian Aramoana with the ball as he runs across the face, taken by Savali. No, Savali misses him, but taken by Mike Luke, as well as Mike Antipas.
Good work by the Upper Hutt backs, just coming in, taking a bit of pressure. They can see a couple of their forwards are down, struggling with a bit of cramp. That's a good tactic to give them a rest. Even if it's just for 2 sets of tackles. That's enough to catch your breath, compose yourself, and then keep going.
Terence Puna with the ball. But still with the ball running through number 17, Tim Walker.
Puhia plays the ball.
Corey Kingy with the kick straight into the hands of Tortor for Petoni. He brings it back.
It's good covering by the Petoni halfback. He gets up, plays the ball, moves it right to the winger, Rongo Russell. He comes in, takes it up the middle of the field, gains about 5 metres. Here's Malcolm Lewis, has a skirt from dummy half, looks to unload, gives it. Malingi Ioane. Here's Sep Laulu, stops, comes back in on the inside. Still managing to stay on his feet, very strong. If you can get a good quick play of the ball in here, you can keep it going. Ioane has a go on his own down the sideline side. He's taken. Well, that's not bad, Ken. That's about 3 tackles. They gain 40 metres.
Well, they have, and Petoni certainly have got it together. As we see strongman, Petoni strongman, Mike Luke with the ball, dancing and ducking and diving, manages to offload the ball back to Chris Savali.
As we said on the ball. They've got a big one. They can move the numbers. Now looks.
Well, here we go, Warren Dowdy with the ball.
Lewis had numbers all over him, and Howell gave him the ball and just set him right up.
Smash up! Break his arm!
Here we see the Upper Hutt fullback, Eugene Baker, just taking a wee bit of pressure off the Upper Hutt forwards. Corey Kingy into the standoff. Out goes the ball to...
That's number 17 for them,
Tim Walker. John Quello with the ball. Manages to make 5 or so metres in this afternoon's Wellington Grand Final.
Come back across the ruck. That's Rainer Williams looking to get the pass away. He's lost it.
Yeah!
Well, you see there Williams coming up with a fumble. Relieving a bit of pressure for Petoni, and they now go back to set the scrum. You know, if I was Petoni, I'd just tell them, if I was out there, they've got to be a little bit patient. They're getting towards the end of their sets, and if you're going to run the ball, you've got to be ready. Everyone's got to be prepared for that. Or if you're going to kick, you've got to be ready.
And at the end of the day, there's no need to play catch-up football at the moment. We're only 10 minutes or so into the second half. 14-8.
Right. 14-8, plenty of time in the game. They just got to be patient.
Jacob Crown having a wee bit of a dart. Tony still with the ball. Paul Howe onto Anthony Farmer. One over the top and one down below from Upper Hutt. Certainly great defence out there by both sides, Andre.
Well, they are, mate. You know, we've got big guys like Chris Savali, Anthony Farmer. You know, they're not little.
Mike Luke, of course, we've mentioned throughout the commentary. He's certainly having a very, very strong game.
Well, that's a bit of lost direction there again by Petone. That's the last tackle, and they got caught with the ball. So someone's got to take charge out there, whether it's Paul Howe.
And we see Adam Moana with the ball as he comes away with it, steps out of a couple of tackles, manages to carry on. Still running strong is Ian Aramoana in the second half, and of course his uncle Victor Aramoana, great player for Wellington.
Oh, certainly has. People that are followers of the game will be well known to him. Victor Aramoana, big try scorer for Wellington, played for the Kiwi Trials, and has been one of the most prolific try scorers in the Wellington club competition.
Well, he certainly has. Also a Māori player as well, Andre.
That's right.
Here we see
that on the bus.
And Toko Graham, the Upper Hutt captain, he'll dive into the supporters as he's mobbed behind the try line. Upper Hutt, another try. 18 points to 8 at the moment in this afternoon's grand final here at Petoni Rec as we look at the Saturn Sports Net replay. Upper Hutt with the ball, Tom Malu, he passed it through to Willie Iona onto Puhia Pue, and of course it was a catch and pass as Toko Graham dived into the middle of his supporters, and weren't they happy?
Yeah, mate, they had more numbers there than Petoni in the end. Again, you know, Tom Malu instrumental, he's out there where the play's happening, and fed Willie Iona. Outside him was Puhia Pue, as we see again on the Sportnet replay. Malu unloads to Ionu. Puhia Pue, 2-on-1 situation. Pussy Filnati had no show.
And I see Toko Graham in scoring that try poked out his tongue. Maybe he was answering the haka.
Is that part of Māori culture, Ken, when that sort of thing happens? Or?
No, I think it's part of happiness at scoring a try. He's the captain. He's probably retiring after this season. There we see the flags are up as Corey Kingi manages to sink that conversion. Okay, it's 20 points to 8 at the moment. Still no need to panic at the moment for Petone. We've got about 15 minutes left or so on the clock, and Petone, just all they need to do is just play settled rugby league.
Well, mate, if they can come up with 2 converted tries, you know, that's going to level it off at 20 all. Getting that close, and it's enough to get the bounce of the ball and come away with the win. They can still be patient, but they've got to make their chances count.
There we see Upper Hutt returning the ball, I think, through Emerson Tawhara. Follow with the ball now.
Puhia, Upper Hutt prop.
And of course, Puhia Pue instrumental in that last try of Toko Graham's. There we see another hard man from Upper Hutt, Tom Malu. Qualo with the ball. Willie Iono.
Well, Upper Hutt, you know, obviously after that try and the points on the board, they're getting cocky, they got their towels high, and they're looking very organised when they're out there when they take the ball up.
Rainer Williams steps through.
Here we go, Ian Aramawana, he's in the gap. Skirts across. Just pulled down. Rongo Russell pulling him down 2 metres from the line. Warren Dowdy and Dummy goes on his own. What's the referee's decision?
Held up, so touch judge says.
Well, touch judge Alan Prentice saying held up over the line. That's no try. Some of the Upper Hutt players showing their dismay with that decision. Tony come out and play the ball from their line.
Anthony Farmer. That's what Upper Hutt will have to do now, Andre, is keep them down there. Well,
they just forced the turnover.
Things not quite going right for Petoni as Mark McCaffrey calls for the scrum. And as you say, the Upper Hutt flags are flying high. They've got their tails in the air.
Well, Petone, they're trying to keep the ball alive. They just recovered it right in front of their post. You know, that's a huge thing that's going to force the ball in your own yardage area. All Farmer had to do was hold on to ball, play it, and let the ball move out on its own through the 6 tackles rather than to just try and keep it alive, particularly in that spot of the field.
And
we see Kylie Hohua.
Yeah, I see Kylie Hohua coming on, the coach's son, and Kylie will normally in the centres will move into the row, into the scrum position or the hooker's position. Toko Graham feeds the scrum straight back out. There he goes. What's he doing? Running around, gets away from Anthony Farmer. Jason Crown, Mike Antipas bring him down. He'll play the ball about 10 metres out.
That's Raina Williams. Anthony Farmer went looking for him, come up empty.
Toko Graham coming out through Corey Kingy.
There's Malu on that inside ball, gets rid of Antipas. Still spinning, still looking, still got the ball, bobbles it, unloads. Upper Hutt still keeping the ball alive. Puhia charges it straight up the middle.
Settling it down, I think, would be more the word, or trying to settle it down.
Oh, has a go on his own. That's a try. He's over. Well, look at that. He's been on the field for less than 60 seconds. What's the referee's call? Wait on.
Hold try. Tickets, as they say.
No try. He didn't make the line. Let's have a look at the replay if we can get one.
The Saturn Sports Net replay. We'll wait for the replay. Well, no, we won't get the replay as we see Malcolm Lewis come out. Will stay with the action. Jason Crown into dummy half, and there we see Mike Luke again trying to bring the ball out from the Petoni line. He's a monster, and he still manages to get away.
He's still going.
And there we go, he'll get up. And there's still a couple lying on the ground. So true to form is Mike Luke. Chris Savali, another one of the hard runners from Petoni. Jason Crown will put in the kick. So there we see Toko Graham with it now, bringing the ball away. Strong run, makes about 7 or 8 metres. Kali Hohua onto Corey Kingy. Aramoana.
Well, there's some tiredness showing out there of some of the Petoni defenders just putting out an arm and missing. Don't blame them, they've worked hard. This Upper Hutt team's running rampant. It's Tom Malu, one of the main contributors for them, still looking to get the ball away.
He certainly was, and the Petoni, I think you're right, Andre, a bit of tiredness creeping into the Petoni pack. And there we see Raina Williams. He's dragging Mike Antipas. Toko Graham looking for his second, steps, passes it out, and there we see Corey Kingy.
Emerson Tawhara comes across the defence. Good try.
And I'd have to say Mark McCaffrey can't take that try away. It certainly was a great try. Upper Hutt 24 points to 8 in this afternoon's grand final as we wait for the Saturn Sports Net replay.
Here we see the replay. Kingy skirting across, just holds it up enough time for Tawhara to come on the burst, cutting across the defence. No way were they going to hold him.
Well, they certainly weren't, and there go the Upper Hutt supporters, very, very happy. 24 points to 8 at the moment in this afternoon's Wellington Rugby League Grand Final here at Fraser Park in the Hutt Valley as we watch the Saturn Sports Net replay. Toko Graham passes it on. Corey Kingy holding the ball for what seemed to be an eternity out to Emerson Tawhara. He steps across in front of a couple of players, and a very, very happy man is Emerson Tawhara as we watch Corey Kingy, who will try and put Upper Hutt even further into the front by converting Emerson Tawhara's try. 24 points to 8 in this afternoon's grand final, and that certainly would turn around and bring the point of tiredness back into it.
Well, mate, there's about 11 minutes to go, and you're right there, you know, the tiredness really starting to show on the Petoni players. As you could see earlier in the sets that were leading up to that try, players were just sticking out at arm, missing tackles, and also when they get the ball back, players are starting to take the game into their own hand. As you see earlier, Jason Crown trying to chip the ball to himself, but no one chasing, no one with him. Trying to run the ball on his own, no backup. We're seeing players in front of their post trying to force the ball when the play isn't on. That's a sign of tiredness. It's a sign of guys panicking. It's basically a sign of catch-up football, which is the position they're in with 10 minutes to go.
Well, it is, and Corey Kingy unable to convert the extra 2 points. But at the moment, Upper Hutt running high, 24 points to 8 in this afternoon's grand final, as we see Paul Howe, as we've seen so often this afternoon, start the game off again.
Here we go, Willie Ionel. Upper Hutt loose forward, he brings the ball up on his own. You can just see that look of composure on the Upper Hutt players. They know the game's theirs. No need to panic. Just catch the ball, take it up, go forward.
And possibly put in a good kick at the end of your set to 6.
But I wouldn't be surprised, mate. You look for Tom Malu, he'll appear probably in the next 1 or 2 tackles and try something. They take the ball out from dummy half. Ian Moana, inside ball, brings it back across the ruck. Plays it on the 4th tackle. Kylie Huhua into dummy half. Dummy inside, out, Willie Ionel. Terence Puna unable to hold on to that ball.
Well, there was absolutely no need to try and push that pass, Andre. As you say, the game for Upper Hutt, at least one could say, is in the bag, so it's just played safe football. I mean, you and I both know rugby league is a game of skill, so all you have to do is catch, pass the ball. There's no need to try and push anything.
Good to see Carly Hohor out there, 1-2 minutes into the game, scored a try and playing in an unfamiliar position of hooker.
Well, in rugby league you only have to lean on the scrum. There we see Paul Howe with the ball as he gets around a couple, but Warren Dowdy, the Fijian winger, says you're not going anywhere. There we see Iso Totala, who's just come onto the field for Petoni. Mike Edmonds trying to inject a bit of enthusiasm back into it. Anthony Farmer making about 10 or so metres. He'll get up and play it. Jason Crown, Mike Luke, and Mike Luke certainly has had a big game for Petone this afternoon. Still going, manages to unload it to his winger Malingi Iono. He'll get up and play the ball. Jason Crown with it, coming back this way. Tortor bounces off a couple. Still going is Tortor, the Petone halfback.
We'll see Paul Nelson mistime his hit there. Tortor was able to bump him off. Here's Malcolm Lewis. Again.
Gave it to Toko Graham.
There it is, mate. The sign of players taking the game into their own hand. He kicked the ball to nobody. Who was chasing that? He chipped it to himself. Upright, come up with the ball easily.
And of course, Malcolm Lewis and Toko Graham, teammates in the Line Red Cup with the Hutt Valley side. As we see Puhia Pue make 5 or so metres. He'll get up and play it. Kali Hohua decides to spin it out. Corey Kingi.
Move the ball. Dowdy just tries to skip around the outside as Totala brings him down. Ian Moana into dummy half. Comes around on the wrap.
And there we go, Williams throwing the ball. Now, if that had been intercepted, it'd have been a try to Petoni, as we see Upper Hutt still moving the ball through. Emerson Tafara fighting to get free of Malingi Iono. Okay.
Well, there we go. There's another sign of the team being behind and under pressure. Mate, the tackle was made. The guy had to just play it. Malingi gave him a little bit of a shove, made him lose the ball. They lost more than the ball. They're going to lose about another 30 metres downfield. It might cost them points.
And Toko Graham, I think, would be telling his guys, keep your heads, keep calm. There's no need to start doing silly things or pushing passes, Andre.
That's number 17, Tim Walker taking it up.
Good run by Tim Walker. There we see Rainer Williams.
Mate, he's having a busy game, this Rainer Williams. He's made a few busts, laid off a couple of balls. Very impressed the way he's going. As he gets up, looks like he's could have pulled up with a cramp. Attribute that to all the hard work he's done.
There we see Tim Walker again with the ball.
Bounces up, keeps going.
But at least he was able to catch the ball, I'd say. Toko Graham with it, the little general. Corey Kingi runs across the face. There we go, Aramoana and Warren Dowdy. Corey Kingi still with the ball, and I would have thought that ball would have gone backwards. Looked as if it went backwards from the commentary position.
Mark McCaffrey calling for the scrum. Petoni ball. They're 20 metres out defending their post. Well, I suppose at this stage of the game they've got to have a go. try and get some points on the board. You see SL Tautala, he makes the bust up the middle of the field, coming in off the wing.
Still looking for someone to pass to.
Unloads. That's Crown as he plays the ball now on the first tackle. Made about 20 metres on that run. Mike anti-pass, sends it back out on the inside. Here's Paul Howe, looking on the inside. He's wrapped up. Anthony Farmer, one of the big strong men, working hard for Petoni today.
Well, he certainly is, and Anthony has had a reasonably good season. Here we see Mike Luke, he's had a great season.
Oh, what a pass. Great pass to Andy Pass. Tony still going, Malcolm Lewis.
He's brought down, 3 or 4 metres out, 5 metres out from the line. There we see Jason Crown, Mike Luke, and he'll score.
Oh, good stuff.
Good play. Petoni, Mike Luke.
Good reward for Mike Luke. That was the second time he'd taken the ball up in that set. You know, it's a tribute to the guy's fitness and his toughness.
When we see the Saturn Sportsnet replay, we'll see that Mike Luke, as you say, Andre, featured twice in that particular move, and that's great for Mike Luke, who has had a stunning game here this afternoon.
Yeah, he's on the end of a team that's behind a long way on the board. Here we go on the Sportnet replay. We'll see it happening. There's Mike Luke there on the first play. He set up the first pass by unloading the anti-pass. Anti-pass moves the ball wide. Malcolm Lewis, they hold him down. Now watch him, after being involved in the play, he then steps up.
We see Sep Laulu.
Crown and play, just comes straight off Crown. Gets rid of one of the up Hutt defenders. My try, straight under the post.
Well, Tony didn't bother with the kick. They still have a man down in the corner of the field, but Corey Kingy, as he kicks the ball, Jason Crown's got it and he'll run it straight back at them. Manages to get away from Paul Nielsen. Paul Howe with the ball. Anthony Farmer, another strong run from him, twists and turns, but is brought down just on halfway by Carly Hohua. Mike Luke, there we go, the try scorer for Petoni. Another strong run from him, brought down by a couple of up Hutt defenders, Tom Malu being one of them, and Tom's had a strong game this afternoon. But there we see number 16, Jason Main.
As we see, it's only 3 minutes up on the clock now, Ken. Time running out for Petoni. What can they do in the dying stages? Sepla Olu. Got a big hit from Rainer Williams there. Paul Howe looks on the inside, goes on his own. He's there, under the post, Paul Howe.
Great try by the captain and the general for Petoni. Paul Howe, 24 points to 16, as we see the Saturn Sportsnet replay. And Paul Howe made it look so easy as he strolled in under the bar to make it 24-16. There's about 2.5 minutes left to go, and Petoni are not bothering with the kick as we see the replay.
We see Sep Laulu just ducks under a tackle from Rainer Williams, held by one of the upper Hutt defenders. Paul Howe skips across, dummies in, spots the gap on his own, goes, slips through the fullback's tackle, right under the post. Look at the Petoni supporters.
And a very interesting move that Andre Petoni not bothering with the conversion. I mean, it was right in front.
Well they got the kick up on the scoreboard. It's 24-20. Is this going to be one of the epic games in the dying minutes? We see Petoni come out of the bag. Can they do it? They're all involved. They're all running. Players calling for the ball everywhere. Farmer. Oh, Tom Malu went looking for him.
He went ballistic, as they say.
All he come up with was air. Here's Mike Luke. He's in the play again. Takes it in. Held strongly. He's got to get up. They've got to play the ball quickly. How much injury time is left in this game, we don't know. What effect it's going to have.
Anti-pass as he gets monstered by a couple of upper Hutt defenders.
That's the last tackle. It's over the top. Oh, upper Hutt tidy that up. Tidy up the kick from Howe.
Toko Graham, the little general, goes down. I think it's just a wee bit of cramp as we see Aramwana come away with the ball. Upper Hutt will have to hold the ball for the next set of 6.
They've got to
play it up and play it. There we see Carly Hohua just take the tackle. Mark McCaffrey checks with his watch.
That's it. That's all over. It's full time. What a game, Ken. The 1998 Grand Final, Upper Hutt top final, 24 points to 20.
All right, and there we see Upper Hutt very, very happy. Grand Final champions again, 2 years in a row. They came through as play-through champions last year, and the flags are flying high. The champagne will flow tonight in the Upper Hutt club rooms. Petoni can go away from this game knowing that they came to play. They did step up. They played well, and in the dying minutes, Andre, 24-20, you can't go away moaning at that.
No, it's been a top Grand Final, a good way to finish off the Rugby League year, and good for Upper Hutt. They won the final last year, this year 98, 2 years in a row. That's good for the Upper Hutt club, but commiserations to Petoni and Mike Edmonds. They've played well, they did well to take it right to the final wire, but at the end, the 1998 Grand Final goes to the Upper Hutt City Tigers, 24, Petoni 20.
Well, that's the 1998 Wellington Rugby League Grand Final. After the game, I caught up with both captains. Joining me after this afternoon's final is the winning captain, Toko Graham for Upper Hutt. Toko, a great season for Upper Hutt and another great win.
Kia ora, Ken. Yeah, we won the knockout competition, the minor premier comp. We knew, that doesn't mean nothing if you don't win the grand final. That's all our goals. We done it hard all year. Had a lot of injuries and come out on top today.
Now, Mike Edmonds, of course, you had the pleasure of being coached by Mike and taking out a grand final against Wainui Omara. It was a tough battle, wasn't it, up front and in the backs?
Yes, I knew Mike's style of play is similar to Upper Hutt, and he brings out the best of players, and basically it's going to be hard.
Okay, the champagne's going for the Tigers come on top of where to from here. Let's go, we've got Wellington and then back to the club rooms. Won't be just tonight, tomorrow as well, so bloody hard.
All right, and Toko, congratulations, great win to Upper Hutt, another great season for Upper Hutt, mate, and we wish you well for the future, and will you be back next year?
It's all right, mate, just help out Henry. I think Henry believes he's going to coach next year, so give him a hand, Too old now, mate.
All right, as I said, Toko, congratulations, great year for Upper Hutt, and thanks for joining us.
Kia ora, Ken.
And of course, on the other side of the coin, Paul Howell, captain for Petoni.